Donald Trump actually plays chess on a 5D level, and you never can anticipate what his next move is going to be.
Dan Scavino, who handles his social media, keeps sending hints out to us. We get messages in circuitous ways.
Trump's temperament is one of action. It's not, and it is no different than John F. Kennedy's. In terms of telling us things, optics, you better believe that he's very much a straight shooter in terms of actions that he's going to take or what he thinks needs to be done. Trump came out at this point announcing his candidacy because he knew and he wanted to test who was going to be against him. They said, oh, he suffered this incredible defeat. What we were working on was taking over school boards. We wanted to get Nancy Pelosi out. We wanted local councils. Yes, he had 23 out of 235 that didn't win their seats.
Let me tell you what Trump has been doing, because it could be earlier than 2024 and not because the election will be overturned. Trump has been endorsing candidates in each of the different states. We're kind of fed up with the rhinos, which are Republicans in name only. And the other thing is that what people don't understand is that the U.S. is a republic. And in that, you have to think of it like we're 50 different countries. And so he wants to really support state legislatures and secretaries of state so that a lot of the problems that happened in 2020 can get cleared up. The prediction is we're going to take the House and the Senate. They're talking about Trump being the Speaker of the Senate, and then he will be able to impeach Biden and Harris, and he will be able to take over because he'll be third in line. People want to recruit him to be the speaker. I'm not saying that that is Trump's plan, but the conservative people have been talking about that because the Speaker of the House does not have to be an elected official.
They've made a huge, huge mistake with this one because even though we thought what was going to happen was they were going to go after him for treason or sedition, but they did criminally charge him, but they didn't go to that extreme. As a result, he has due process, so he can subpoena people. You could go to Wikipedia and find Operation Mockingbird, that the CIA has been in there forever. Then Obama repealed the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which then permitted propaganda to be in broadcasting. It no longer said that it had to be credible. And so when he came out and said fake news, he warned us at the end of his speech that it is going to be very hard. The establishment, the media, the globalists are all going to come after. They're going to try to intimidate, but he needed to smoke them out. I really want people to understand that they need to go to other sources because the media will not tell you about his successes. They will not tell you about anything that he does positively. Biden is the legitimate president, but he's the legitimate president of what is now the bankrupt U.S. corporation. And that was a treaty in 1871. Well, on September 12, 2018, Trump created an executive order. Within that, he outlined in future elections any kind of foreign or domestic interference, specifically for the 2020 election. So we say, how did he know some of these things were going to happen? Think about Edward Snowden and all the information he had. Think about the fact that our military, our Department of Defense Space Force, if you think that they don't have the actual real results from the election, then you're fooling yourself. You know, I sit on a task force at the Department of Defense, and the thing is, they've got the goods. They've got the goods, and Trump knew that if he presented any of the goods early on, we'd have a civil war. That he really felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get. He didn't try to subvert anything. What he's really done is he's set up the deep state to come out, and that's why we're seeing all these things. They won't tell you about the devolution that they can continuity of government plan that he put in. The reason that his Mar-a-Lago was seized upon was that they really wanted to get the PEDS, the Presidential Emergency Act document, which is only what Trump knows and the military, that he had to put in place. Because before he left, he declared 2 national emergencies. And you know what? Biden hasn't reversed that. Biden has signed on to 3 of his executive orders to continue them going. So we have some very fascinating things that are going to come out. You know, they made fun of him because they assumed he broke protocol and walked in front of the Queen. No, if you go back and look at it, you will see he looked at her. She gave a wave with her hand. He proceeded. She took a couple of steps, he stopped, and he waited for her to join. That was an optic to tell us that he then was going to bankrupt the U.S. corporation, because it was the Vatican, the Crown, and the U.S. that was part since 1871. He told the Queen, I'm ending this. We're dissolving this corporation. We're going to go back to being a republic, and we'll all be separate. The Pope wasn't happy. You should find the picture of him visiting the Pope. It took 650 planes to remove our gold from the Vatican Bank.
WMD, or wireless monitoring device. The wireless monitoring device is a sophisticated network connection monitoring system, designed specifically with election security in mind. We have been told that our election computers are never connected to the internet. The WMD will put that to the test, by detecting and reporting, in real time, Wi-Fi connections in county and state election offices.
A group of generals came to me, and it was explained to me they were ready to conduct a coup d'etat. They were ready to move Barack Obama from office, with military force. And then a few weeks later, I got another call and said that they were reconsidering. You know why they were reconsidering? Because they talked to Donald Trump, and Trump agreed that he would run. And they agreed that if he would run, they would conduct their coup d'etat as a legitimate process, rooting out the traitors within government. And that pact between the military and Donald Trump has held.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us that.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm?
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out. With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario, and this is information warfare.
The American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information, and they did it through social media. We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, what we call, I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest.
I'm a wartime president. This is a war. This is a war, different kind of a war than we've ever had. 2024 is our final, biggest, and most important battle. The tables will turn, and we will destroy the deep state. We're going to destroy the deep state.
And Anand asked you if they could get Trump to work the phrase tip-top into his State of the Union speech. Instead, Trump said it at the 2018 Easter egg roll with the white rabbit standing next to him.
Keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
President Trump was flying in Air Force One with the call sign Q0.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity. These are people that don't like seeing what's going on in places like Portland and places like Chicago and New York and other cities and states. And I've heard these are people that love our country and they just don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there, and we are actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country, and when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and then disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe that it's a satanic cult run by the deep state. QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories. Why not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know nothing
You don't know that? Okay.
No, I don't know that.
You just this week.
Neither do you know that.
The Clinton hearing was on December 5th. Q was putting D5 in posts like something big was going to happen on December 5th. George Bush Sr. died, and the funeral date was set for December 5th. At the funeral, 5 secret envelopes were delivered in a way that everyone would see. Clinton had no emotion. Obama tried to play it off. Biden and his wife looked lost. Pence moved past it real quick, and the Bush family was obviously upset. Before D5, Q also posted "Follow the wives." All the envelopes were given to the wives. After D5, an anon asked Q what was in the envelopes. Q replied, "Our promise to counter." What are the odds that all of this would happen the way it did? And that all of it would line up with December 5th? How many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible?
QAnon is military intelligence. And close to Trump.
We are at war!